The Livestream Code and Rating Administration has rated this online event PG. All ages admitted. Please be kind and stay on topic.
Welcome to Dave Sunstrom's Top 5 Videos of 2025. For the next hour, Dave will share his 5 most popular videos of the year based on view counts with each one of you. And now, here's your host for the evening, the Dark Knight himself, Batman.
The Joker is on the loose again.
Sadly, Batman has been called away. Dave, it looks like you're going to have to do this thing on your own.
Oh no, I was counting on Batman to host this thing. That's okay. Hi folks, my name's Dave Sunstrom, and if you enjoy talking about music, movies, mostly classic TV, you've come to the right place. So this is my year-end live stream, and on my year-end live stream, what I do, in addition to telling you all that I hope you have an awesome 2026, what I do is we review the top 5 videos that have been published to my channel based on view counts. So there's a few surprises there. I will tell you this, only 2 of the videos that were my most popular videos this year were actually released in 2025. The others, one of them goes all the way back to 2019, if you can believe that. But anyway, before I go there and before we start counting down the videos, I want to make sure I say hello to everyone that is here hanging out with me tonight. And so let's start right here with Kenneth Wilkinson. Hey, Kenneth, good to have you here. Boy, I hope you have a good New Year's Eve as well. And I hope 2026 is awesome for you, Kenneth. Let's see, folks are saying hi to Kenneth. Let's see, we've got Angela McArdle here saying hello. And Angela's talking about her new cat, Scooby, asking everybody how their Christmas was. And then we've got channel member Tracy Rothmeyer saying hello. Tracy, good to have you with us. I should have mentioned that Angela McArdle is a channel member as well. What does it mean to be a channel member? Well, these people do something a little more than just click the subscribe button. They're actually supporting channel members, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. So thank you, Tracy. Hope your Christmas was great. Your holidays were great. For you, it's Hanukkah. I know that. And I hope 2026 is awesome. Let's see. I know that it's been rough recently, and I see this in your comment here, losing your mother-in-law a couple of weeks ago. And then, of course, I didn't know Adam the Woo all that well. I'd heard of him, of course. But I've heard from a lot of you that he really was impactful and that you really felt that loss. And I pass on my sincere condolences for those of you that knew Adam better than I did and feel the pain and the sting of loss. I pass on my sincere condolences. Let's see. Channel member Zuperplex is here. Welcome, Zuper. Good to have you here as always. Let's see who else is hanging out with us. Rachel in the 208, our Remind Magazine winner. Rachel, oh wait, was it you? No, it wasn't. Oh my goodness, it was Karen Lee Maloney. You were this runner-up. You're going to win next time, I know it. But it's great to have you here, Rachel, in the 208. In the 208, I learned a couple months ago, is referencing the phone area code. And for those folks who know where 208 is, it's in a neighboring state here close to Utah. Let's see who else is here. Gary Carpenter's here. Hey, Gary. Good to have you with us. Channel member Angela McArdle says, I'm hoping next year is better. Hey, I hope every year is better, right? Every year needs to be just a little bit better. I do love my AI as long as my AI is there to complement and not replace, right? I love to do little tiny bits of AI. I think it's fun. I think there's a lot of power, and I think AI is a tool to be used. However, as you will all see in a video that I'm working on right now, I'm not a big fan of AI when it's used in overabundance, if that makes any sense. Snark and Sass is here. Welcome. Good to have you here. BZ Queen 72, good to have you. Justin, welcome to the live stream tonight. Hope you enjoy the countdown. I'm certainly going to enjoy them. You know what? I like watching my videos. And the funny thing is my memory is such that I actually forget things. And so when I watch the videos over, I relearn things sometimes. Let's see. Claude Sailing is here, 3068. Welcome, Claude. Channel member John Collins. Appreciate having you here tonight, John. Always a treat to have you hanging out with our community. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Channel member Rob Pinto is here, says almost New Year's. Yeah, we're getting close. Almost 2026. Danny Staten's hanging out with us. Good to have you here. Greetings from Kaysville, Utah, my friend. And let's see if I think I got everybody so far. Danny says, R.I.P. Adam the Woo. He was my friend. And channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, Adam was a wonderful person. It really sounds like I need to go back and watch some of his old videos. It seems like I missed an opportunity to be friends with someone who really was impactful within the YouTube community. Thanks to everybody for sharing their thoughts. All right, with that said, I think I've said hello to everybody that has shown up in the chat. Let's go ahead and talk about this year's top 5 videos. Like I said, they're not all from 2025. As a matter of fact, the first video we're going to look at is one from 2025. It's one that I released in February of 2025. And it's one of my favorites from this year. It is all about Norm Macdonald and Roma Downey. And a particular, oops, wrong one. Let's go up here. And a particular moment that made SNL history. This video, over the course of the last year, all throughout 2025, has amassed over 123,000 views. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and watch that video. It's February 14th, 1998, Valentine's Day, and Saturday Night Live is exactly that, live from New York. The host, Roma Downey, star of Touched by an Angel, is on stage, and with the entire SNL crew saying their traditional thank yous, what happens next is pure Norm Macdonald. And trust me, this moment is even better when you know the story behind it. So let's talk a little bit about it. Norm Macdonald had just been fired from his job as the anchor of Weekend Update. Why? Because he made a lot of jokes about O.J. Simpson during and after the trial. And that didn't sit well with one of the bosses at NBC at the time, Don Ohlmeyer, who was good friends with O.J. From everything that I remember and researched for this video, Ohlmeyer told Norm and writer Jim Downey that they had to ease up on the O.J. jokes. However, those of us who are fans of SNL know that Weekend Update is meant to make fun of the news. So of course Norm didn't stop, and for that, he got replaced by Colin Quinn. After Norm was removed from Weekend Update, there was a lot of speculation about whether he'd been fired from the show entirely. The rumor mills were going crazy. Reports would say that he was done and never coming back, and the next day, there'd be whispers that he might return. It was all up in the air, and fans were left wondering if we'd ever see Norm again on SNL. So let's get back to this episode. Throughout the entirety of the program, Norm was MIA. He wasn't in any sketches, and he wasn't even in the opening credits. It seemed like the network was doing everything that they could to keep him off the screen. But then at the ending of the show, something absolutely magical happened. In true Norm style, he just saunters on up to Roma Downey. She turns, shocked to see him, and exclaims, "My goodness." And then he gently kisses her. And just like that, he walks away, like it was nothing. Roma's reaction was priceless. You could see her brain doing all sorts of mental gymnastics. She was absolutely stunned. Some people thought it might have been a dare, something that someone like Chris Farley might have put him up to. But here's the thing. Chris, who was actually known for daring Norm to do outrageous things in the past, had died just a few months earlier in December 1997. So if this was a stunt, it was all Norm. And from what I can tell, Norm wasn't even supposed to be there. He'd been pushed out, sidelined, erased from the show. And yet there he was, stepping into the spotlight. It's hard not to see it as a quiet act of defiance, a way to let the NBC brass and the SNL producers know that no matter how hard they tried to silence him or hide him away, Norm Macdonald wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't the type to fade into the background. He was going to leave on his own terms with a moment so unforgettable they couldn't edit him out. I guess it is worth mentioning that not long after the kiss, Roma Downey divorced her husband David Anspaugh. Was it because of Norm? Probably not. But let's be honest, that moment was something else, and maybe it did help to provide a little perspective to everything that was going on in Roma's life. As I think back to that moment, it all feels a bit sad now. Norm Macdonald was a comedy legend who always did things his way. Even when the network tried to shut him up, he found a way to make people remember him. Norm officially departed from Saturday Night Live after the March 14th, 1998 episode, exactly 1 month after the kiss. He would return, however, to make a cameo appearance on the SNL 40th Anniversary Special in 2009. While I'm not going to talk much about Norm's career outside of SNL in this video, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't talk just for a moment about what I believe was Norm's final voice acting role, where he played the non-humanoid Yaphet on one of my favorite science fiction TV shows, The Orville. According to Seth MacFarlane, the show's creator, casting Norm was incredibly easy and took about 10 seconds. MacFarlane called Norm and asked, "Hey Norm, you want to be a blob?" To which Norm replied, "Hell yeah, I'll be a blob." And the rest, my friends, is TV history. Norm died in September 2021 after fighting cancer for almost 10 years. He pretty much kept it private, so when the news finally broke, it hit everyone hard. Other than George Carlin, it's hard to think of anyone people were more upset about when they died. His fearless humor, his unpredictability, his way of making us laugh no matter what, that's what made him so special. So here's to Norm Macdonald, a comedic force that I truly miss. And hey, if that kiss really did change Roma Downey's life, well, that's just another reason why Norm was one of a kind. And now for something only semi-related.
Mornings are better with Hardee's made-from-scratch biscuits. Hey, watch it, buddy. We serve them fresh from the oven, so they're always hot and buttery. Stop it. Stop poking me. And that makes our breakfast biscuits a delicious way to start your day. Hey. When I get up, I'm going to break that finger.
Get 2 big bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits made from scratch every morning for just $2 at Hardee's, where the food's the star.
I feel like I'm breaking out of my dad's shadow.
Now, that's great, Fred. Hi, I'm Norm Macdonald, host of this year's ESPYs. Please join me in sports greats like Bobby Hull's son here. Man, that guy was good. Bobby Hull. Tell you, there'll never be another one like him.
The new issue of Retro Fan is out. You can preview it at tomorrows.com. I love Retro Fan magazine. I've gone ahead and posted the link to Retro Fan magazine in the chat. After we're done with the live stream tonight, I'll post it in the description section of the live stream as well. But folks, check out Retro Fan magazine at tomorrows.com. They've always been a great supporter of this channel, a great partner with us, and anything we can do to keep those printed magazines keep them around for another decade or so. That might be wishful thinking, but keep them around as long as possible. We should do that. We are, after all, a nostalgia-based channel, and there is something really nostalgic about holding a print magazine in your hands. All right. Before we get to number 4, let's go back and read some comments and say hello to folks that have just arrived. Let's see. We're going to start right here. Channel member John Collins said, this community is a nostalgia community, and this current year is almost itself in the past tense and therefore nostalgic. What is everyone's 2-word answer to how they would describe this past year? That's a good one. I'm going to have to think about that one for a minute. John, let's see what else we've got here. Gary Carpenter says that Terry Moore is going to be 97 next year. Okay. Justin says kissing someone randomly in the 80s wasn't really considered risque. Probably not. Probably not. Channel member Angela McArdle says Norm marched to the beat of his own drum. Absolutely. And BZ Queen 72 answering John Collins' question says my 2-word answer is homeowner. That's a good one. Congrats to you if that's something that's new to you in 2025. Rare Medium says Norm wanted to be further touched by an angel. Oh my goodness. I do think he really was smitten by Roma. And from what I understand, they had a nice friendship. Channel member Angela McArdle says, well, Norm did voice death on Family Guy. There you go. Channel member Lance Chaffin in the house. Welcome, Lance. Channel member Superplex says, the kiss brought about the divorce? I'd say that they just happened around the same time. I don't think that is actually the case. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, I did not know that he died, referring to Norm Macdonald. Gary Carpenter says, I remember my first trip to New York. I got to see NBC and the SNL auditorium. How cool is that? All right. There again, folks, is the URL for Retrofan Magazine. Justin says, remember when Dustin Hoffman assaulted a woman when he got the job in Kramer versus Kramer? You know what? That's a movie that I still haven't seen in its entirety. I've seen clips and pieces of it, but never seen it in its entirety. Something I probably need to do. Adrian James, welcome to the live stream. Sakina McMurrin, welcome. Good to have you here. Sakina says Norm Macdonald was hysterical. R.I.P. and happy holidays. Channel member John Collins says my 2-word answer is enigmatic kerfuffle. Ooh, I like that one. I'm going to go with orange chaos. That's what I'm going to go with, John, and community. Take it for what you will. Orange chaos is my 2-word answer. Let's see. Yes, Danny was telling me this. He texted me a few days ago and told me that he'd gotten a copy of Starlog #1, Made My Christmas. He says, what a great find. Make sure you put that one away, get that in one of those protective Mylar bags and save that one because that's a gem. That is truly a gem. Let's see. Rare Medium says, I used to enjoy your Mentimeter quizzes. Any chance of bringing that back? Yeah, we could potentially do that. I'll try one in January. How's that sound? Let's see. We've got channel member Tracy Roth Myers, who is using her milestone message, which tells me that Tracy has been a supporting channel member here on YouTube. And I know she supported me on Patreon before that, but on YouTube for 49 months. That's more than 4 years, folks, if you do the math. She says, it's really great to see you. I enjoy your videos. Well, it's great to see you here hanging out with us tonight in the community, and thank you for the kind words. And more importantly, thank you for all your support, Tracy, not just this year, but throughout the years. It's truly appreciated. I got my Remind magazine as well. It's the actually, I think it's the January 2026 issue, and it's the In Memoriam issue where they talk about all the stars that passed in 2025. Remind magazine, another fantastic publication. You guys all know that it's more than just a partnership in that they employ me. I'm a contract writer for them and write for Remind Magazine's online website. Thanks for sharing that, Gary. Yeah, I knew what you meant, buddy. I knew what you meant. Let's see. Channel member Angela McArdle says, my 2-word answer, unbelievable and interesting. Boy, there you go. I don't disagree with those 2 words. Let's see. Hey, look at this. We got a child here with us tonight. Hello. Good to have you with us. Superplex's 2-word answer is PU. Now, does PU stand for something? I mean, I know what it means, but, smells bad, but I don't think it stands for anything. It's probably just like, pew. Anyway, good stuff there. Gary Carpenter says, I haven't seen Tootsie in ages. Another Dustin Hoffman film. I haven't seen that one either. Rachel in the 208 says, Orange Chaos. I just got it. Though if you know, you know. Let's see. And John Collins says, yes, indeed. Agreed, Dave. A Child says, I'm so happy to see you, Dave. And beautiful chat. Yes, this chat is awesome. And I think we're going to stop there. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 this year. Let me get my assets up here, my media assets. Number 4 this year is a very old video, going all the way back to, I think this one was 2020. And it's one of my most popular videos. I think it's got well over 1 million views, or close to 1 million views, over those 5-6 years. So I am talking about my number 4 video for 2025. Oh, released in 2019, January 7th, 2019. Whatever Happened to Jan Smithers, a.k.a. Bailey Quarters from TV's WKRP in Cincinnati. This year in 2025, it had over, it had 158,985 views, putting it in 4th place for the year. So without any further ado, let's find out what happened to Bailey Quarters, aka Jan Smithers.
There she is. Often requested by commenters on some of my other Whatever Happened To videos, Jan Smithers, better known as Bailey Quarters, the beautiful but somewhat reserved assistant to program director Andy Travis on the classic sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. WKRP ran from 1978 to 1982, 86 episodes in all. Lots of wonderful acting by Smithers and the rest of the cast. I remember watching and thinking, I know I've seen her somewhere before, but I could never put my finger on where. Thank heavens for the internet. Now I know that Jan was a sought-after model in the late 60s and early 70s. She was all over print media and television. Jan got her start in the most awesome of ways, believe it or not. She was playing hooky from school for the very first time, or so she says, just hanging out with a friend on a California beach when she was approached by 2 men in suits who claimed to be from Newsweek magazine. And it turns out they weren't lying, and before you knew it, there was Jan Smithers on the cover of Newsweek magazine. After publication, Jan's parents' phone was ringing off the hook, with agents seeking to represent her. The already mentioned modeling gigs were just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg for Ms. Smithers. In 1974, Jan starred in the film Where the Lilies Bloom, based on a well-known book which told the story of a poor sharecropping family. Smithers got positive reviews for her work as the family's eldest daughter. After that, Jan was able to find additional employment opportunities on both television as well as motion pictures. But it was her role as the shy but sexy Bailey Quarters that really caught the viewing public's attention. Sure, front and center there was platinum blonde Lonnie Anderson, literally screaming for the attention of all male eyeballs. But for many fans of the show, including myself, it was Jan's portrayal of Ms. Quarters that really felt like the real deal. There was an authenticity there. And even though she was often referred to as that other girl on WKRP, even television critics recognized the contributions that Jan made to the overall success of that TV show. Okay, brief intermission from the Jan Smithers update to stroll down memory lane a bit. Does anybody remember these things? I'm sure this record player was absolute trash, but I remember wanting one so bad. Somehow I thought I could be a real DJ if I had one of these things. Okay, back to Jan. After WKRP had ran its course, Jan found steady work on shows like The Fall Guy, Mike Hammer, and Murder, She Wrote. But it was a 1986 appearance on the TV series Hotel that would forever change her life. You see, she fell in love with leading man James Brolin, and before you knew it, they were officially man and wife. Jan's last role was in the 1987 movie called Mr. Nice Guy. I've never seen it, so I can't speak to her performance in the film or the quality of the film overall. Roughly around the same time that Jan was making this movie, she also found out that she was pregnant. At last, she was going to be a mother. She and James would have a daughter that they would name Molly. And while the marriage didn't last, Jan has gone on record many times about how motherhood felt like a calling to her. There wasn't much more that she wanted to do than be Molly's mother. Acting held no appeal. She was 100% invested in raising her little girl. Molly is grown up now and appears to have a great relationship with both mom and dad. I'm not sure exactly what she does, but it does seem like this Molly Brolin from Brooklyn, New York on Etsy might be the same young lady pictured next to Mr. Brolin there. If you're into the whole Etsy thing, you might want to go over to her storefront and check out some of the items that she is selling. Back to Jan. When Molly was older and in high school, Jan took her first trip to India with a charitable organization. While there, she not only fell in love with the people, but the spirituality that exists within their culture as well. Since that time, she has traveled to India on 16 different occasions, and as you might expect, she practices yoga and dabbles in the fine art of meditation on a daily basis. She has also had the opportunity, from time to time, to reunite with her fellow cast members from WKRP. Jan has said that she looks back on that time in her life fondly, and a lot of that has to do with the people that she worked with, day in and day out. Personally, I love to see photos like this one. You always hope that the friendships you see on screen are legitimate reflections of true friendships that exist off screen. I think with Jan and her other WKRP castmates, that hope is an actual reality. One last pick. Let's go way back to Jan's modeling days for this one. It's easy to see why she had such a successful modeling career before becoming an actress.
Danny Staton, come and find me if you can.
We'll return after these messages.
This week on Wonder Woman, a mad scientist plots to turn the entire Earth into a volcano. Then Bill Bixby stars as David Banner, tormented to transform into the Incredible Hulk as evil scientists plot to use him in aggression experiments. The Incredible Hulk following Wonder Woman, starting Friday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Friday on CBS.
It was a cold and stormy night, just when I thought nothing was going to happen. She walks into my life. What's the trouble, Belle?
I've been searching for weeks and there's nothing, absolutely nothing good to watch on TV.
You should try Friendly TV. They've got over 50 great channels, many of them playing TV shows that I know you're going to love. I love Friendly TV. It's got all of my favorite TV shows: Star Trek, Batman, Andy Griffith, Leave It to Beaver, Gunsmoke. You name it, they've got it. There's a link to try it out free for 7 days in the description section of this video, so give it a shot. When you do, you're supporting this channel. All right, let's get back to business. And back to business we are. So there was number 4, Jan Smithers. Always a favorite on the channel. Recently released another video about Jan and a music career that she had early on when she was still a teenager. I also posted the link to Friendly TV in the chat, and will post the same link in the description section of this live stream when we are done. All right, I want to get back and review a few more comments that showed up in the chat. while we were all watching the Jan Smithers video. Let's see. Channel member Angela McCardle says, I did a giggle when you said Orange Chaos. Let's see. And Stewie Griffin fan 1986 says, I hope you have a wonderful 2026, Dave. Right back at you. Matter of fact, everybody that's in the chat tonight, all my community members, I hope 2026 is awesome for all of you. Channel member Superplex says it's the acronym that made Princeton University insist its initials should be UP. Kenneth Wilkinson misses Cindy D. I do too. Wonder where she is these days. She still comments on my videos, so it's just that she's not making it to the live streams. And Rare Medium says, Hot Cup of Jan. Yes, indeed. Hot Cup of Jan. That's a riff on the name of the band that Jan was in. Let's see. Channel member Superplex says T-Pons is missing in action, even though he said he would try to make it. Well, you know, life's one of those things where sometimes you have to prioritize family and other things ahead of the live streams. Wish they didn't have to do that. Would love to have everyone here, but I totally understand. And Justin says T-Pons is writing impossible trivia for next Sunday. Hey, his trivia questions are hard. They are hard. I don't do very well with his questions. Yes, Gary says that T-Pons, we're talking about Thrash Pondo Pons, was on last night streaming. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says R.I.P. Lonnie Anderson. Yep, someone else that we lost in 2025. And channel member Tracy Roth Myers points out that record player is definitely laugh out loud funny. It is, but it sure looked cool. When I was a kid, I thought it looked really cool. And channel member Superplex says that James Brolin traded down after divorcing Jan. Gary Carpenter had a Smurf record player, and I bet you the sound quality was awesome. Justin, a.k.a. Braidwood Inn, says Gary Sandy is the most random actor ever, and he loves to do live theater. That's where you see him working most these days. Stewie Griffin fan 86 says R.I.P. Lonnie Anderson. Absolutely. And let's see. There again is the link to Friendly TV to try it free for 7 days. Channel member Angela McCardle says, I love Friendly too. Yep. And Gary Carpenter says that he has all of the Wonder Woman series, both the ABC and the CBS seasons, on DVD. Danny Satan wants to know if I'll be doing a video on Bridget Bardot. I will not, at least not right away. Maybe something down the road. Bridget wasn't much of a TV star, and most of my videos, not all, but most of my videos are more focused towards classic TV and the stars that appeared on the small screen. Let's see. Stewie Griffin fan 1986 says, in 2025, we said goodbye to many icons that define the boomer, Gen X, and millennial generations of pop culture. We sure did. Someone earlier mentioned the Remind magazine issue for January of 2026, where they review all of the celebrities that have passed this year in 2025. And boy, oh boy, the list is just extensive. It goes on and on. Channel member John Collins says, Dave, a TV question. In 1983, there was 1.5 hour TV special titled Eunice, which was intended to be a backdoor pilot for Mama's Family. However, in the special, Mama dies. How does that work? Well, Eunice isn't the name of Mama, right? Eunice is the name of the Carol Burnett character, right? I wasn't a huge... Justin might have a better answer for that than I do. I wasn't a huge Mama's Family fan. But who was you? Let's see who played Eunice. Yeah, that's who Carol Burnett played, was Eunice. So if Mama died, which is the character that was played by Vicki Lawrence, I can see where they could have done that. Now, the question is, I'm surprised that Carol Burnett would have wanted to do another weekly television series. Channel member Angela McCardle says we lost too many in 2025. That is so very true. And A-Child 4363 says, I hope everyone 2026 is amazing, as do I. Adrian James 3815 says, yeah, we lost some legends this year. Let's see. Justin says, John, it's like 3 different shows, honestly. Yeah. And Angela also points out that Eunice was played by Carol Burnett. And Justin points out the seasons 3 through 6 episodes don't follow the season 1 through 2 plot lines, really. Yeah, television was interesting. Even in the 80s, they just didn't feel really all that beholden to what transpired beforehand, right? The writers would just make stuff up and go off on its own tangential kind of path. And Superplex wants to know if Carol Burnett was planning on doing Eunice. I have no clue. Stewie Griffin fan 1986, would you please consider doing a profile, a Whatever Happened To profile on Charles Hayde? Yeah, I liked him. He was great in Hill Street Blues. Definitely will. Ms. Elizabeth, a.k.a. Music Girl 67, supporting channel member of, a longtime supporting channel member, says, howdy and good evening, everyone. Hoping you all had a blessed and beautiful holiday. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever, and wishing everybody all the best in the New Year's ahead. Let's fingers crossed, right? And it is indeed almost here. Thanks for that comment in the chat, Ms. Elizabeth. Let's see. Yes, she did not make many appearances on Mama's Family. That is so very true. Okay. Seeing it. See, I think we're caught up for the most part. People saying hello, but let me take that off the screen and let's move on to number 3. What is number 3? Number 3 is a video that is also kind of an oldie. I published it in 2020, May 15th of 2020. The title is The Surprising Reason Why Larry Mondello Disappeared from Leave It to Beaver. And even though this video is well over 5 years old, during 2025, it amassed a view count of 191,744. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and watch that video, and then I will be right back. Larry Mondello. Where'd he go and why? I will do my best to answer that question in a minute, but first, let's talk about Leave It to Beaver. The show, which debuted on CBS in 1957, switched over to ABC during its sophomore season and ran for 6 years in all. When the show concluded, it was still doing well in the ratings, but the boys were getting a bit older, and those involved with the show felt that it just made sense to leave while the show was on top. As you might expect, a lot had changed over the course of the show's 6 seasons. Not only had the boys, Theodore the Beaver and his brother Wally, matured, but the Beav's best friend and primary mischief maker, Larry Mondello, just up and disappeared during the middle of the show's run. Larry was played by child actor Robert Rusty Stevens. Stevens was a natural in front of the camera. He actually seemed like a real kid. And it was easy to see why Larry might not always make the best of decisions. His father was always out of town. His mother seemed a little older than your typical mom and a whole lot more tired. Yep, Larry really wore this poor lady out. So anyway, let's get back to Larry, or more specifically Rusty. During Leave It to Beaver's 4th season, it was announced that Rusty would not be returning. Some people said that Rusty's family had moved to the East Coast due to his father getting a new job, and for many years that was the story that a lot of us believed. It made sense. However, I have a friend who said that he had heard something else might have actually been the reason for Larry's sudden departure from the show. He said that it might have had something to do with the mom. And if you were to believe actress Barbara Billingsley, Rusty did leave the show because of his mother. She had heard that Rusty's mom had terrorized the show's producers, and that Rusty had been fired from the show because of her antics. Well, folks, let me just state for the record that this story isn't true. How do I know? Because we've got the real story straight from the horse's mouth.
or more accurately, straight from Rusty. You see, recently Rusty has begun sharing a few anecdotes about his time on Leave It to Beaver on the show's fan club Facebook page. The truth, according to Rusty himself, is that as Larry Mondello became more popular on the show, he was signed to a contract by the show's producers. At the time, aside from the main cast members, he was the only other actor to be under contract. At first, Rusty loved spending most of his time at the studio, which was very different from what he did at the start. In the beginning, he would show up for a day's worth of work and then go home, go to a regular school and hang out with friends. However, once under contract, he would spend all of his time at the studio lot, and truth be told, he really missed the social aspects of living a normal life. For a while, Rusty just kept those feelings inside. But it became too much for a young boy to keep to himself, and eventually he told his parents just how he was feeling. Rusty admits that he's not exactly sure to what lengths his parents might have gone to help their son. Who knows what his mom or his dad said, and maybe, just maybe, that's where Barbara Billingsley got her story. But at the end of the day, the show's producers released him from his contract. As season 4 of Leave It to Beaver continued shooting, contrary to the myth that I mentioned earlier, Rusty and his family were still in California. It would be a couple of years later when the family finally packed their bags and headed back east. So what did Rusty do after that? Folks, he lived a normal life. He went to college, he served our country, and he was invited back to make multiple appearances when Leave It to Beaver was revived in the mid-'80s. Like all of the actors, Rusty had grown up. However, unlike most of his co-stars, Rusty had done so outside of the scrutiny of the public eye, and if you ask me, and his parents, he was all the better for it. These days, Rusty lives a pretty peaceful life in a quiet little township back east with his wife, far away from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. He still catches an episode or two of the show every now and again, but more than anything else, he just loves spending time with friends and family, which, if you think about it, makes a ton of sense, because that was exactly the reason why Rusty left Larry Mondello behind in the first place.
The fiber in Kellogg's Mini Wheats helps keep me flying right, but it's the delicious frosting that fuels my youthful appetite. Small problem.
The shredded wheat nutrition gives me that drive, but the kid in me loves to tackle the tasty side.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats, shredded wheat nutrition for the adult in you, delicious taste for that part of you that'll never grow up.
The fiber in Mini Wheats gives me a great start. But when it comes to the great taste, I'm just a kid at heart.
I'll have what she's having.
Give me a mountain and nothing to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and smooth, refreshing Mountain Dew. Yeah, give me a river, give me a dew. Give me my good friends, give me a dew. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew.
Don't be a joker. Click on that little thumbs up icon and give this video a like.
Saturday mornings, it's double the action as WGUS brings you Shazam,
Almighty ISIS.
followed by The Secrets of ISIS. Catch the Shazam ISIS Power Hour, part of Star Spangled Saturday mornings on WGUS TV.
Rachel in the 208 says, I would like a video on Tammy Lauren. Tammy Lauren. I think I know who that is. What did she do? The Young and the Restless, Wishmaster, Angie. She was in Angie and Homefront. That would be a good one. You know, only because I really don't know a lot about her. It'd be fun to learn about her. Great suggestion. Thank you for making it. Let's see. Stewie Griffin fan 1986 says, by that point, Carol Burnett and Vicki Lawrence had stopped speaking to each other. They wouldn't reconcile until years later. Oh, that's too bad. And channel member Superplex says, I didn't know there was a Larry Mondello fan base out there. Oh, yes, there is. There is a big Larry Mondello fan base. Lots of folks love apple eating Larry. Justin says, Carol Burnett's character was way too over the top on Mama's Family, I thought. And Gary Carpenter says, I saw an old blooper of Betty, Carol, and Vicki doing a Mama's Family episode. And Justin says there's some episodes where Mama actually says she hates her. Oh, my goodness. Channel member John Collins wants to know if Friendly TV is still working on our questions. I have not. I sent them to them probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, and haven't heard a peep from them. You know, I hate to be that guy, right, that just pesters them. They said they'd get the answers to me, but I'm going to have to do it. And you know what? Maybe they never give me the answers. Friendly TV is one of those interesting things where I really have enjoyed our partnership, but there have been some frustrations along the way as well. Let's see. Superplex, channel member Superplex says, the thing is, without Eunice, you basically cut the heart out of Mama's Family. I agree. And Justin points out that seasons 3 through 6 have no Eunice in it. Let's see. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, just got in from work, and for some reason I thought the live stream started at 6 here on the West Coast. You know, I've been mixing up, experimenting with different times, so I can see why you might have thought that. But it better late than never. Really great to have you with us tonight, Ms. Elizabeth. Stewie Griffin fan 1986 says, shame on Leave It to Beaver. Got rid of Larry Mondello. He deserves better. Larry left on his own, right? Rusty Stevens left on his own, wanted to go off and live a normal life. Hard to blame someone for that. Channel member Rob Pinto says, whenever I hear that TV show, I remember the running gag in the movie Airplane. Of course, you're talking about the one with Barbara Billingsley. Very funny. She talks jive very well. Channel member Angela McCardle says, I need to start binge watching on my favorite classic TV shows. I don't start school again until January 20th. Nice. Nice. School for me, I teach at a local technical college, starts on January 5th. Darn it all. Let's see. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, my 2 words for my year are lonely and blah. I'm so sorry that you felt lonely this last year and blah. Neither of those are great words. Hopefully you always feel that you're among friends and people that care about you here. Don't know if he fought in Vietnam. Is that what I said in the video? I don't recall saying that. Timing-wise, could have been, but I kind of doubt that he did. Gary Carpenter says, Angela, I was trying to binge watch my Christmas specials and movies and I got sidetracked. Well, you know what? That's a worthy effort. Worthy effort. Channel member Angela McCardle says, the only great thing about this year was my son graduating from high school. Congratulations to him. That is an accomplishment. Channel member Angela McCardle says, I love those Frosted Mini Wheats commercials. So do I. I love a lot of those old commercials. Even the Mountain Dew one. It's just that, like that jingle, right? It just is so burned in my noggin that when you hear it, it's what do they call it? Ear candy. That's what it is. Ear candy. Nick Mamonis is here. Hey, Nick. Good to have you with us tonight. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. What else do we got here? Lots of folks talking amongst themselves. Nick Mamonis points out that Tammy Lauren was in Angie and Homefront. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one. I'm going to do that, and in the not too distant future. Beezy Queen 72 says, love Shazam and Isis. So did I. Those were great shows. And Justin points out that Mama's Family season 3 through 6 is one of his favorite sitcoms. Gary Carpenter met Shazam once. Nice. And another request from Stewie Griffin, 1980, Stewie Griffin fan, 1986. Jonathan Gilbert, Willie Olison from Little House on the Prairie, and Melissa Half Pint's real life brother. Another whatever happened to request. I'll add it to my list. Stewie Griffin fan, 1986. You know, I need to do more of the whatever happened to videos. They are very popular and tend to typically get more views than the other types of videos that I do. So Larry, channel member Superplex, wants to know, is like that rock throwing guy on Andy Griffith? Not really. Larry was his own thing. He was that kid, right? Did we all had that one friend that kind of got us in trouble sometimes? But then when, you know, punishment was getting doled out, they were nowhere to be found. Larry was always getting the beaver in trouble. Channel member Angela McCardle says Melanie Watson, an actress that was on Different Strokes Past. She played Kathy Gordon. I remember reading that. Hey, look at this. We got R. Howard 295 here with us. Sorry, I'm 4 minutes late to your chat. Hello, but hello. Good to have you with us tonight. Let's see. Music Girl 67 says, let's hope it's a bright 2026 for you and for all of us, right? It is tough when we lose parents and family members. No doubt about it. I just watched the trailer for Malcolm in the Middle today. Hopefully it'll be good. I loved that show when it aired originally on Fox. You know what? Don't feel bad. We all misspell words from time to time. Let's see. Folks saying hello to each other and just conversation going on with each other. Channel member John McCollins says, you know, Dave, is there starting to become a streaming fatigue? Do you think of the media conglomerates will feel the pressure and bring back the wonderful, awesome DVD unto its rightful place? No, I do not believe that will be the case. I believe that there will be a renaissance, and certain people, much like people that collect vinyl and feel nostalgic towards that form of media, they will feel the same way towards DVDs. And so you're going to have kind of like, you're going to have these fringe collectors. I'm one of them. I love collecting DVDs, and you go to a thrift store and you can pick them up so inexpensively. But do I think it will replace streaming? No. Do I think there's streaming fatigue? Yes. I think folks are getting tired of paying. You know, it's like we went from Netflix and Prime and Hulu to now, what are there, 9, 10 different streaming services that you need to have to be able to watch everything. It just gets tough. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, thank you and everyone for the kind words. Being here with all of you is definitely been one of my highlights this year, and we're hoping we're all together in 2026. Fingers crossed. Yes, indeed. Channel member Braidwood Inn, aka Justin, says, John, there's so many shows that aren't even available to stream and should be. Totally agree with that comment. That is one of the things, you know, the promise of streaming was that everything would be available to us, and that's just not the case. As a matter of fact, some things that have been available aren't available anymore, and only those of us that have the DVDs can watch them now. I saw Cher's new boyfriend when she made her appearance on SNL. Very interesting. Yes, and I watched her sing lip sync on SNL. She lip sang once. No, how do you even say that? She lip synced one song, and then she actually sang one song. But it's kind of disappointing, you know. You go on SNL and we kind of expect live singing. I don't know if you're talking to me, Tracy Roth Myers, channel member here. The question is, have you ever made any videos on Zoom? I have, but I tend to use StreamYard more than I do Zoom these days. Let's see. Angela McArdle has lots of DVDs. Lots and lots and lots of DVDs. Let's see. And Superplex says, I think the entertainment companies figure it's more profitable to stream movies than to press them into DVDs. It absolutely is. And they have more control over the media, right? Once they sell you a DVD, they lose complete control. You have it. You own it. And that's a big difference. Channel member Rob Pinto says, have you tried watching an NFL game? You need several streaming services to watch your team if you want to. Absolutely. It's a mess. Becky Howard says, I'm looking forward to a giant surgery in 2026. Yikes. Hopeful. That will be very beneficial, but also comes with significant downsides. Well, I sure hope everything goes okay for you, Becky. Those things are tough. But as you pointed out in your comment, can be very beneficial as well. I'm excited for you if you're excited. Let's see. Danny Staten says that Tug, the unapologetic geek, got me the Night Stalker DVD for Christmas. That's awesome. Channel member Angela McArdle says, I'd rather buy a DVD of a film. That way I watch them when I want. And yes, I have a lot of films with George Purpleheart. Don't judge me. I won't judge you. Oh, have I ever done a video about Zoom? No, I haven't, and I need to. I totally need to. Thanks for the clarification, Tracy. Let's see. Music Girl 67 says, does anyone know what the purple crowns with numbers are after and how I can get one? I want to be a queen too. Is it just an emoji or is it a symbol for a particular? Oh, you know what? I think it's engagement based. I think YouTube's putting new little symbols based on engagement. Thoughts and prayers, just positive vibes going your way. Hope everything goes okay. Hey, take care, Justin. Great to have you with us this evening. Thanks for hanging out with us for as long as you did. And with that, I think I'm pretty much caught up. So let's move on to number 2. The number 2 video this for 2025 is one that I released. When did I release this video originally? Oh, it is the other video that I actually did in 2025. This is the video titled Whatever Happened to Angela Cartwright. And I released it on April 14th of 2025. And since that time, it has garnered 197,535 views. So let's go ahead and watch that one, and then I will be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. How many of you remember Angela Cartwright, who played Penny Robinson in the classic television show Lost in Space? Since breaking into TV during the late 50s, Angela has had quite the career. In this video, we're going to take a look at all of that, and of course, we'll spend some time talking about what she's been up to more recently. So let's get rolling. Way before she was off exploring the galaxy, Angela Cartwright got her start super young. She was only 4 years old when she became part of the cast on The Danny Thomas Show, also known as Make Room for Daddy. Over the years, when speaking about that show, Angela has talked about how it was really different from her English home life, which was quite traditional. Angela remembers Danny Thomas being a bit of a loudmouth and his TV wife as having a feisty personality, quite the change from her own family. She spent 7 years on The Danny Thomas Show, learning all about comedy and what it took to make a new show each week. She remembers how quickly they put it all together, reading the script, figuring out where to stand, rehearsing with the cameras, and then doing it all for real in just a few days. After her time on that show, Angela went on to the big screen in the movie that I think most folks are very familiar with, The Sound of Music. Playing Brigitte Von Trapp was a big change from her New York family on The Danny Thomas Show, and she got to experience a completely different culture. Her time making The Sound of Music was one that she would never forget, and it still impacts her to this very day. More on that in just a little bit. Then came the show that really captured my imagination when I was a kid. Yep, I'm talking about Lost in Space, which ran on CBS from 1965 to 1968. That said, I really came to love the show during the early 70s when reruns would play daily in the afternoon. The idea of a family having all sorts of crazy adventures in space really clicked with people back then when space travel was this brand new thing. Angela remembers the bright and fun colors from the show, all thanks to costume designer Paul Zastupnovich. His designs were incredible, but those first spacesuits that they wore on the show, well, they were not so much fun. According to Angela, they were made of this stiff cardboard-like fabric with silver on it that made it super hard to move and really, really hot. Luckily, it wasn't long before they transitioned to different costumes, which were way more comfortable. Angela says the Lost in Space set was a blast. She says it was like being at Disneyland every single day, and she made great friends with all of the other actors, especially Bill Mumy, who played Will Robinson. Even though Lost in Space only ran for 3 seasons, it was never forgotten. And the series has been super impactful, spawning a feature film during the late 90s, and even more recently, a successful series on Netflix. As Angela moved into adulthood, she became a really talented artist and photographer. She has her own studio in Studio City, Los Angeles, where she shows off her work. She even teaches art classes and travels around sharing what she loves to do. She has also written some books on photography and movies, including this one, Mixed Emulsions, and she's created her own line of clothing and jewelry featuring some of her cool artwork and photos. Over the years, Angela has always been there for her fans and likes to go to reunions with her Lost in Space buddies. She even popped up in the 1998 Lost in Space movie. She often goes to conventions and does interviews and seems always happy to talk about her time on the show. And along with her lifelong friend Bill Mumy, she has written Lost and Found in Space, where they share their personal memories from the series. In her personal life, Angela is married and has 2 kids. And, getting back to The Sound of Music, she even takes fans on special trips to Salzburg, Austria, where she shares her memories about her time filming that wonderful movie. From being a young actress on TV shows and starring in a movie that is universally beloved, Angela Cartwright has grown into an amazing artist, photographer, author, and business owner. Her talent and the way that she connects with fans are still growing strong, proving that her journey after Lost in Space has been equally exciting. Okay, maybe not just as exciting. I mean, how can you match traveling to all sorts of weird and wacky planets? Still, it's all pretty darn cool, and you can find out more about Angela Cartwright's art and books at angelacartwrightstudio.com. Anyway, that's almost it for today's video. Stick around, I've got something extra for you. But if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and let's all do our best to be our best with everyone that we encounter today.
Cartoons are just so violent these days. Batman and Robin are always punching people in the face. It's disgusting.
You can be anything you want to be there. You can see anything you want to see there. There's excitement in the air for you and me there. You feel free there. You can NBC there, but you got to be there. Yeah, you just got to be there. You feel free there. You'll be what you want to be. See what you want to see. You can NBC there. Be there. Look around, everything will look so new. feel so free there. It's just you and me there. NBC there. Be there.
Yeah, someone just said something about back when network promos were awesome. That's so very true. Let's see. Let's read a few more comments. Let's see. Stewie Griffin Fan 86 says, Angela and her sister Veronica have both aged gracefully. Very true. Becky Howard says, Lost in Space. Yeah, one of my favorite shows growing up. John Collins, channel member John Collins says, Dave, have you noticed that Pamela Anderson looks completely different these days? Yeah, she doesn't wear as much makeup most of the time. And of course, she's aged. Like you said, not bad, just completely different. Looks very different. I totally agree with you. Gary Carpenter says, R.I.P. June Lockhart. Yep, we lost June this year as well. It's one of the stars from Lost in Space. And of course, Lassie. And later on in Petticoat Junction, a bunch of different things. Let's see. Channel member Superplex says Angela replaced Sherry Jackson, who was kicked off the show. Sherry was a real fox. Did not know that. Let's see. Danny says, saw David Lee Roth yesterday, by the way, related to channel member Tracy Roth Myers. And, oh my goodness, I didn't recognize him. Yeah, he's gotten older. Looks very different. Let's see. Yes, Music Girl 67. I am doing a countdown, and we are all the way to number 1, which I will reveal in just a moment. One hint about number 1, it is not a video that I published in 2025. However, it is my most popular video ever based on views. And it was, again, just looking at 2025's views, my most popular video. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says lots of shows ran for 3 seasons. Indeed, Batman, Wonder Woman, Gilligan's Island, Death Troop. Let's see. Dolph Quick's here. Hey, good to have you with us. And Dolph says, Danger, Will Robinson. Love the robot on this show. And it was channel member Angela McCardle that says, the days when network promos were awesome. Gary Carpenter says that woman was wrong about cartoons being violent. It's funny that way. And yet, there was a time in the 70s when people couldn't, when, you had a superhero show, there was no punching unless it was punching a robot or something like that. Rachel in the 208, I think, talking about that NBC promo, says that this ad goes on and on. Yeah, it was a long one, huh? Although there's some ABC promos that are even longer than that one. Channel member Superplex says, back in the days when network television reigned supreme. And Sammy Boy Smith, the savant, says, good stuff. Thank you, sir. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, I remember the Big Blue Marble. Yeah, that was a PBS show, right? I love the intro music, but it's a no-go on Hodgepodge Lodge. Sounds like a fun show, though. Let's see, another request from Stewie Griffin Fan 86 in terms of the Whatever Happened To videos. The kids from Kate and Allie, Ari Myers, Allison Smith, and Frederick Kohler. I will add them to my list. Stewie Griffin Fan 86. Let's see. Yes, I was thinking that too. We've lost a lot of the stars that were in that network promo, that NBC promo. Kenneth Wilkinson has all 3 seasons of Lost in Space on DVD. And let's see. Rare Medium says, Dave, do you remember a commercial for a magazine and the guy talked about a teaspoon of a neutron star weighed as much as 1 million cargo ships? I do not. What magazine was it, Rare Medium? Let me know. Let's see. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, we've all gotten better, not older. I like the way you think. Sakina McMurrin's here. Good to have you with us. Sakina says, Angela Cartwright's sister was in the movie Alien and the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I think I knew that. I think I did. Let's see. Music Girl 67 says, Any plans for 2026, Dave? More live streams, maybe, like one a week. That's my goal. Try to do one a week. Let's see. Yes, 2 more people we lost in 2025. Polly Holiday and Diane Ladd. Nick Mamona says, I miss those promos they made. They made you want to go out and check out the shows. Yeah, and the songs were great, right? That Be There song was fun. Stewie Griffin Fan 86 says, would you consider doing a Jane Badler? Whatever happened to that? That's a good one. Haven't I done one on Jane Badler? I'd have to go back and check. I might have. Angela McCardle wants to know whatever happened to Dwight Schultz and Sally Struthers. I watched Sally recently on Man on the Inside. It's a Netflix show with Ted Danson. Fantastic. And Sally's wonderful in it. So great suggestions, Angela. I'll add them to my list. Gary Carpenter says that Muppets seasons 4 and 5 have never come out. Oh, I did not know that. Nick Mamona says, what do I think about Disney Plus and Hulu being combined? It was only a matter of time. I have some thoughts about that. I just canceled my Disney Plus subscription, by the way. Man, I remember when I first bought that. I think I got 3 years for a super cheap price, and it's just gotten more and more expensive. We don't watch it that much. I think the value that Disney Plus offered was that it was a safe place for families to just kind of turn it on, and they were always, never worried about what their kids might be watching. That's no longer the case with them combining Hulu there. But it's a different world. I remember when the Disney Channel first came out on cable, that was the thing that they really pushed. Hey, this is family. You can just turn it on and always be confident that what your kids are watching is going to be, uplifting and have messages that are positive, and you're not going to worry about profanity or excessive violence or anything else. And well, that's no longer the case when it comes to Disney Plus. Let's see. Hey, Rob Kersey's here as well, playing Terminator 2D No Fate. Well, thanks for hanging out with us while you play a little Terminator action. Channel member John Collins says, Dave, what is the best way to get audiobook purveyors to offer specific titles to their available purchase catalog? I have no idea. I would guess that you could probably go to the website of the publishing company, and there's probably a contact us section, and you could send a message that way. Whether it would be impactful and be able to influence them or not, I don't know. My other guess is that if a book has significant sales in terms of print copies, then that's one way for them to consider doing audiobooks as well. Channel member Music Girl 67 says, I'm thinking HBO Max might be part of Disney soon too, because I received a promotion to receive all 3 over the holidays together. They're doing these bundles, and that's really one of the ways to go if you're going to be buying streaming channels. And they like that. The bundle idea is kind of commits you to a specific set of streaming services, and if you cancel one, then you're canceling 2 others, and you're less likely to do that. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says Dick Van Dyke is now 100. Yes, he is. And channel member Superplex says Disney is the only basic cable channel that had no commercials. Yeah, I remember that. It was quite an accomplishment for quite a while, but that's no longer the case. Sarah, my flock is everywhere. Good to have you with us. Hello, hello, hello. And let's see. I think I'm caught up, which takes us to number 1, the most popular video on my channel during 2025. I accidentally clicked on it at the beginning of the live stream, so a lot of you already saw what it is, but it's this. It's a video about one of the saddest moments in TV history ever. And a lot of people that have watched this one, they challenge me on this, but I think if you understand the context, you will agree with me that it truly is a sad, very heartbreaking moment in many ways. And this has everything to do with Dinah Shore and her then love. Well, actually, they had broken up by the time this what I'm talking about in this video took place. But I'm not going to talk any more about it because you are all going to get a chance to watch it here. I published this originally on May 1st, 2023, and since that time, it's had over 2 million views cumulatively, and in 2025, it got 356,209 views. Let's go ahead and watch that video, and then I'll be back to say a few more words before we wrap this thing up. Sunday, December 13th, 1981 was the night it originally aired on CBS. It was supposed to be a celebration, but the way this thing ended, well, it just felt sad. Now let me just state for the record, I didn't watch it way back then. It's only been a few years now since I first saw this moment play out, thanks to the power of the internet. And I'm watching it with old man eyes, with context about the relationship between these two individuals, Burt Reynolds and Dinah Shore. But I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Let's talk about that show for just a moment. The special was called an all-star party for Burt Reynolds, and there were all sorts of huge movie and TV stars on hand to celebrate Burt's 25 years as an actor, as well as the fact that he was one of the top box office draws at the time. There are a ton of really fun moments on this show, not the least of which was Dolly Parton's performance of a song that she wrote especially for the show. I also loved Jimmy Stewart and Jack Lemmon's parts on the show, but at the very end, it would appear that there was a moment that seems to have been very unrehearsed. Burt stands up and asks if his best friend, Dinah Shore, wouldn't mind coming up to sing him a song. Just the look on Dinah's face here tells you that she was not ready for this. She and Burt had been madly in love, and ultimately their relationship was torn apart by his desire to be with someone who could still bear him children. But Dinah was a professional, and with Jack Lemmon's help playing the piano, Dinah belts out an extremely bittersweet version of the classic song, The Glory of Love. I truly have to believe that every single second of this performance was the emotional equivalent of stepping on glass shards for Dinah. She still loved him, and he still loved her, but they were destined not to be together. You know, I could keep trying to describe this moment, but instead, I'm just going to play the whole thing for you. When it's over, let me know what you think in the comments section. Tell me if I'm nuts, or if this truly is one of the saddest, most bittersweet moments ever to have been broadcast on network TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my life, there have been a lot of people who have changed it for the good and some for the, well, some for the bad. But I've been very lucky because my roots were from wonderful people. But there was one lady who always taught me the meaning of class, and a little bit of it rubbed off. I would like her. She doesn't know that I'm going to ask her to do this, obviously, because I'm here now acting like a fool and talking like Jimmy Stewart. In fact, I make Jimmy Stewart sound like Broderick Crawford. I'm talking so slow. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I think my best friend. And I would like her to sing something, and I know she hasn't got anything prepared, but I know Bernie Casey can lift a piano. So, Dinah, would you do something for me?
I would do anything in God's world for you. Yes. But when I get to a party, I know 14,328 songs, and I can't think of...
You can't think of one?
I will.
Okay. You want a piano player?
Well,
That would help, wouldn't it?
At Billy Wilder's parties and Audrey's, yeah, please. I don't. If anything in the.
I'm available.
I know.
Hey, hell of a night.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's a wonderful.
But you're cuter.
No.
While they're waiting, I like to do about 40 minutes.
He will, too. Quick, Jack, sit down.
You know, in the key of C.
Key of C?
That's it.
And Nelson, it's in my key.
Nelson, come in after 8 bars with us.
Okay. Are you ready for this, my dear?
I don't know. No. You gotta give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Come in here, Nelson, it's comfortable. Nice little brush. You gotta laugh a little, cry a little, and let the clouds roll by a little. That's the story. That's the glory of love. As long as there's the two of you. Instead of 14, you got the world and all of its charms. When the world is through with you, you've got each other's arms. Sometimes you win. Get the blues, the blues. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Sweet love.
Every time I watch that clip, I'm moved by it. It's, how can it be so sad? Which it is, because if you know what was going through Dinah's head, and yet at the same time, there's some joy to it as well. All right, let's read a few comments and wrap this thing up. Angela McArdle, channel member Angela McArdle points out that Jackie Gleason made an appearance on that special as Buford T. Justice. He sure did. That was a fun appearance. And let's see, channel member John Cullen says, Dave, MTV as we knew it is dying in just a few days. It's long been dead, John. This is only, they're officially putting the nails in the coffin, but MTV's been dead for years. RIP, 12/31/2025, MTV. Rachel in the 208 says, did he actually have children after that? He did not. Well, he did. He adopted a son with Lonnie. Let's see. And channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, truly sad. Let's see. There was a question earlier about Earl Holliman. I think it was from Music Girl 67. I'll definitely add him to my list. Earl Holliman, star of with Angie Dickinson in Police Woman, right? Channel member Angela McArdle says, I gave up watching MTV after they started doing too much reality shows. Me too. Yep. They're putting the nails in the coffin here in just a few days. Definitely an end of an era for sure. And yes, eagle-eyed folks, Henry Winkler out in that crowd. There were a lot of famous people in that crowd at the all-star party for Burt Reynolds. Yeah, channel member Angela McCardle says Jack played pretty well. He sure did. I actually have some albums by Jack of just his piano playing. He is phenomenal. And Gary Carpenter says, who doesn't love Dinah Shore? I do. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says Dinah was great. And channel member Superplex says, I can see why this was number one. Yes, Angela, you're right. She was a good sport. Gary Carpenter says that he used to watch Dinah's show every now and again. And Becky Howard says this is such a sweet and sad clip. Yep, both sweet and sad. I agree, Angela. It's easy to see why it's as popular as it is. Just it's a beautiful clip and very sad all at the same time. Channel member Superplex says, I'm surprised you didn't suffer a copyright strike, Dave. I wouldn't expect copyright strike. I have been surprised that I didn't get any sort of claim. But I haven't to date. And if I do, then I will, live with it because the clip is such that it's not one I'm going to take down. I'll just, claim's a claim if that happens. Let's see. Channel member Music Girl 67 says I could have guessed that this was the number one video. It's fantastic and well deserving. And NJ Italian says this is a classy way to end this chat. I remember this on TV, but was far too young to appreciate it. Funny to me, she was just a talk show host who wanted to sing. Danny wants to know where the microphone was. They were up above them. And they, back in the day, that's how they did it. They just moved them kind of on wires up above them and on big rods, just out of sight of the camera. Rare Medium says that Bob Dylan had a major crush on Dinah Shore. Look at pics of them together. He was smitten. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, in case I forget, Dave, this has been a fun show. Thank you. Well, thank you for being with us. Thanks to all of you, right, for hanging out tonight. Sakina McMurrin says, Burt Reynolds broke Dinah Shore's heart. I think he used their relationship to elevate his career. Jack Lemmon can really tickle the ivories. Suey Griffin fan 86 says, Sparky Marcus, how about a whatever happened to on that 70s child star? I will add Sparky to the list. I can never forget Jackie Gleason's appearance as Buford T. Justice at the party. Let's see. Yes, Danny Staten says MTV may have died this year, but it's been in a coma since the 90s. Very, very true. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, finally, they're putting MTV to rest and needed it when it jumped the shark when it started playing reality shows. Indeed. Becky Howard says, thanks for a great 2025, Dave. I love your channel and the community you've created, and we love having you as part of our community. Becky. Gary Carpenter says, Anthony Geary. Yes, we lost him in 2025 quite recently. Channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, my heart aches for Anthony Geary. And Gary Carpenter points out that Anthony Geary had a husband. Yes, he did. He found someone that he loved. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Let's see. Channel member Superplex said that would be a shame. Not sure what we're talking about there. But BZ Queen 72 says, I really enjoyed being here with all of you. And we enjoyed having you with us tonight. Peace and blessings to all. See you, Stewie Griffin fan 1986. See you in 2026. Let's see. Yes, channel member Tracy Rothmeyer says, I know, speaking about Anthony Geary, and I feel sad for his husband. It's a shame. I knew that Anthony was gay many years ago. I don't think he's kept it a secret for a while. Let's see. Channel member Angela McCardle says, this has been a lot of fun tonight, and I hope everyone has a happy new year. See you all next year. I'm now craving a grilled cheese sandwich, even though it's going on 10 p.m. Do it. Do it. Get that grilled cheese sandwich. You deserve it. Let's see. Happy New Year's Day to everyone, says channel member Tracy Roth-Myers. Danny Staten says happy holidays to all. Gary Carpenter says this was a pretty good year, except for all the people we lost, but I agree with you. Danny Staten says good night. Good night to you. Dolph Quick says video killed the radio star, so what killed the video? Internet. Or what killed video? The internet did. Gary Carpenter says, good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Yes, streaming killed the video star, Dolph. Channel member Rob Pinto says, happy New Year to everyone. May 2026 be better than 2025. Let's hope every year is better than the last. Music Girl 67, channel member Music Girl 67 says, wishing all a fabulous evening. Take care. Be good. Be sure to look both ways and see you all in 2026. Stay safe and be well. Hugs to all. Nighty night. And Nick Mamonis enjoyed the video that I did about Anthony Geary recently. Thank you very much for that, Nick. Channel member Superplex says, have a happy new year to all. Becky Howard says the same. And Gary Carpenter says he wants his MTV. Kenneth Wilkinson says good night. And Sammy Boy Smith says, be happy, be good to each other, and let love rule. Night, night. And I think that is the perfect way to end this video. Fingers crossed 2026 is awesome. Thanks everyone for being part of my community in 2025. Have a nice night.
You are special.
Click on that thumbnail cause it's time to go. Dave's got the classics, let the memories flow. TV shows and movies that we all hold so dear. On his YouTube channel he's keeping memories near. Dave Sundstrom, bringing back the good stuff, oh yeah.